My name is Mia. I'm 23 years old and I live in Chicago, USA. My story is not a happy one. It is about the wounds my family inflicted on me, wounds that I will never forget, even if it takes a lifetime to heal. When I was a child, I lived with my mother. She was always there for me, loved me, and took care of me during the difficult time after my parents divorced. My life was not easy, but she did everything she could to make sure I did not feel deprived. After the divorce, my father became less present in my life. But that was not a big deal, because I had my mother, and she was everything to me. Things started to change when my father married a woman named Dana. I remember the day clearly. My mother had given my father permission to have a second wedding, and I had to go with her to attend. I remember Dana's cold gaze as I walked into the wedding, as if she didn't want me there, even though I was her husband's daughter. Dana was never friendly. She was always self-centered, and the way she looked at me made me feel like I was an extra in the family's life. My mother said Dana was trying to get to know me, but I couldn't understand why I felt so alienated from the woman my father loved. That dark day, when I was 18, was when things really started to go wrong. I was sitting in my room at my dad's house when Dana walked in, red-faced and holding a jewelry box. Is it yours?" Dana asked, her voice filled with doubt. I looked up at her, completely confused. "What? That's not mine." She held up a jewelry box filled with precious jewels that I had never seen before. I just remembered never touching them. "You can't fool me, Mia. I found some missing items in your room and some receipts in your wallet. You can't deny it anymore. You took them." My whole body shook with shock. "Those are your things. I didn't take them." I tried to explain that I had done nothing, but I could feel the despair rising inside me. Dana's words, the hatred in her eyes. I began to feel like I had no place in this family. And then, like a slap in the face, she not only falsely accused me, but forced my father to believe those lies. My father, whom I had always admired and loved, did not object. He looked at me, his eyes full of disappointment, and then said, "Mia, what have you done? Why did you ruin everything?" What hurt even more was my mother's silence. She didn't speak up to defend me. My whole family suddenly turned their backs on me, and there was nothing I could do to change that. A new stepmother appeared in my life, and she destroyed everything I knew about my family. I felt betrayed, and I had to ask myself, why did she want to hurt me? Why me? Why didn't she just keep quiet and decide to destroy me like this? I didn't do anything wrong, and now I'm being treated as a bad person, a criminal, without having the chance to tell the truth. Not only did I lose my father's trust, I also lost myself during those months. Wrongly accused, abandoned, and unprotected. Despair surrounded me, but it was also from that moment that I began to realize that if I wanted to survive, I had to do everything myself, because my family had long since left me. After I was accused of stealing Dana's jewelry, everything in my life began to change. I felt betrayed, and I couldn't understand why my father believed Dana's lies. Every time I tried to say I didn't do anything, I only received suspicious looks from my parents and cold words from my stepmother. That day, when Dana accused me, I tried to stay calm. But inside, all the emotions that had been accumulating all this time suddenly exploded. She always acted like she was the master of this house, and I was just an unreasonable child. At that time, I didn't know what to do but stay silent, even though I knew the truth in my heart. I didn't do anything. I didn't steal anything from her. "Mia, there is clear evidence. The evidence is right in your wallet, in your room. How can I not believe it?" I said with tears in my eyes. I don't understand. She is lying to everyone. Why do you believe her? Why can't you believe me? My father didn't believe me. Neither did my mother. I felt like an outcast in my own home. Why would they believe someone I knew was a stranger in my life instead of believing in me, their daughter? The feeling of abandonment grew deeper and deeper. My mother, who I thought was always there for me, didn't protect me now. She just kept quiet, as if trying to avoid the issue. She knew I did nothing wrong, but why didn't she say anything? Why did she leave me to face it all alone? My mother always told me that Dana was a good person, who would make my father happy, and that I should learn to get along with her. But I couldn't. Dana always treated me like I was an unnecessary person in her life. From the moment she entered the family, I felt like I was being pushed out. My mother told me to endure it for my father's happiness, but I couldn't endure it anymore. Dana looked full of contempt. Mia, I really don't understand why my father does everything for you. You don't deserve everything you have. You always destroy everything my father and I have built. I said, with a trembling voice. You don't understand anything. I never hurt anyone, especially my father. But you did all that to ruin my life. It's my life, Mia, and I have no intention of letting you ruin it. Be careful, I won't find out about any more of your tricks. She always thought she was the winner, the one with the power, and I was just a pawn in her game. But I won't let her win, not like this. Every day that passed, I felt like I was being pushed further and further away. I knew that things couldn't go on like this. My family was no longer my family. I couldn't live in this house when all I received was lack of affection and suspicion. Although my father tried to justify his actions, I knew that he only did it because he didn't want to lose his new wife. Dana had taken everything from me, not only my property, but also my family's trust. I couldn't accept that, and I couldn't wait forever for them to realize their mistake. The feeling of being abandoned lasted too long, and I decided to leave. I couldn't continue living in a family that I was no longer a part of. Mom, I can't live here anymore. I can't stay when people don't believe in me. Mia, you don't understand. Your father is just trying to protect this family, to protect his happiness. Mom said, I can't stay where I don't feel safe. Do you understand? I'm not part of this family anymore. My mother didn't understand me, but I can't blame her. She made her own choice, and so did I. I had to choose another path, a path without them, because if I stayed, I would lose myself. I decided to leave. I didn't want to stay in a place where I didn't feel loved or protected. I didn't need anyone's approval. I just wanted a life of my own, without Dana's oppression, without my father's coldness, without my mother's silence. But even though I decided to leave, I couldn't stop thinking about everything that had happened. I couldn't stop wondering if I did the right thing. Could I ever forgive them? But the answer was no, at least not yet. And I know that wherever I go, I will face more difficult decisions, but I can't go back. My story is not just about a girl who was wrongly accused. It is about someone trying to find herself after the whole world turned its back on her. When I left home, I felt like I had entered a new world, without criticism or cold eyes from my family. I rented a small apartment, earned my own money with part-time jobs, and started rebuilding my life from scratch. However, no matter how hard I tried, the pain still followed me. The false accusation had left a wound in me that would never heal, and Dana seemed unwilling to let it go. Even though I had left my parents' house, I still couldn't escape their surveillance. One day, while I was at work, I received a call from an unknown number. I didn't want to answer, but a strange feeling came over me, forcing me to pick up the phone. I said in an annoyed voice, "Hello?" Dana's voice was cold from the other end of the line. "Mia, I think it's time we talk." I was surprised. "What else do you want to say? After all you have done, what else do you have to say to me?" Dana sneered. "Mia, don't hate me so quickly. I just wanted to say that I found what I was looking for." I trembled with anger. "What? What are you trying to tell me?" Dana was silent for a moment, then continued. "I found evidence. Evidence that shows who really stole the jewelry. You think I don't know what you did? You can't hide forever." I felt like I was going crazy. Proof? What was Dana planning again? After all she had done, now she was going to lie to me again? She's up to her game again. Not only is she ruining my life, she's trying to make everyone believe that I'm the guilty one. It won't end if I don't do something. You have no right to accuse me again. I did nothing wrong. You are the one who did all that. Is that so? You will have to face the truth one day, Mia. You can't hide from responsibility forever. You sold my stuff, and I will prove it to everyone. The anger and pain welled up inside me again. All those years I had spent trying to get out of this family. I thought it was over, but Dana still wouldn't let me go, still wanted to drag me into the cycle she had created. She was trying to destroy me again. What should I do now? I can't let Dana continue to slander me. Not only is she destroying my life, she's dragging everyone around her into this fight. I can't let her win. I knew I couldn't keep running away. I needed to face the truth and get things straight. But I didn't want things to go back to the way they had been, where Dana was still the winner, where she continued to control my life. I called my best friend Jessie. "Mia, are you okay? I heard about you. Are you okay?" I sat down, voice trembling. "You don't understand, Jessie. Dana's up to her dirty tricks again. She says she has proof that I stole her jewelry and sold it. I don't know what to do." Jessie sighed. "You can't let her do this anymore, Mia. You have to fight. If there's any evidence, you need to bring it all to light. Don't let her manipulate you." Jessie is right. I have to get to the bottom of it. I can't keep letting her ruin my life. I'm tired of all this. I decided that I wasn't going to let this go on forever. I needed to prove my innocence, and I couldn't let Dana keep embarrassing me like this. But I didn't know where to start, how to bring things to light again. Maybe I need to see my father. If I want things to end, I'll have to face him. After all, he's the only one who can help me restore my honor. I felt like I was at a crossroads in my life. One was letting go, going back to my old life where I had been abandoned and lied to. The other was the struggle to come to terms with what had happened, to face the truth, and possibly even deeper hurt. But one thing was certain. I could no longer let Dana manipulate me. It was time to stand up for myself. I still remember that fateful night, when I tried my last best to defend myself in front of my parents. It was before I left home and started over, a cold winter night, not only because of the weather, but also because of the coldness in the way they looked at me. After Dana's provocative phone call, I mustered up the courage to go to my father's house again, hoping that if I spoke to him face to face, he would realize that I was not who they thought I was. But I was wrong. My father, the one who held my hand when I learned to walk, who carried me on his shoulders when I was sad, looked at me with a strange gaze. And my mother, who, although we had not lived together since the divorce, was the one who taught me, family is the place that always believes in you first. Now she also turned her back on me as if I were a stranger not worth worrying about. I stood in the middle of the living room, which once held so many childhood memories, but was now a cold space filled with doubt. I took a deep breath, trying to calm down. I didn't do anything wrong. I swear. Those things aren't mine. Someone put them in my room. My father folded his arms and glared at me as if I were putting on a bad show in front of him. The evidence is clear, Mia. Dana found her stuff in your room, and the receipts in your wallet. What else do you want me to believe? I turned to my mother. Her eyes met mine for a moment, then she looked away as if she couldn't bear the sight of me. I said in a choked voice, Mom, you know me. You know I have never lied. Mom quietly, Mia, I don't know who to trust anymore. Everything is so confusing. That sentence was like a knife stabbed straight into my chest. I think they no longer saw themselves as family. They no longer saw themselves as the daughter they once loved. They only saw the shadow of a thief built from Dana's lies. In my confusion, I turned to Dana, who was still sitting comfortably on the sofa with a satisfied look on her face. She gave me a slight nod as if to say, You lost. Dana shrugged, her tone feigning sympathy. I don't want to make a big deal out of it, but a loss like this is hard to accept. You need to take responsibility, Mia. Adults have to learn to take consequences, right? I clenched my fists, feeling the trembling rise from within. She was manipulating my family with a terrifying calm. I said to myself, even when she pushed me to the brink, she maintained her perfect hypocrisy. My father looked at me one last time, as if making a judgment. You are no longer my responsibility. The college fund? I gave it to Dana. She deserves it better. I was stunned. My whole body froze. That college fund was the one thing my dad had promised me he would keep for me, no matter what. It was a promise he made when I was a freshman in high school. You just try your best. I will take care of the tuition. Now, that promise was betrayed by a deceitful woman, and he still didn't blink an eye as he ruined my future. I don't know what hurts more, being falsely accused or being abandoned by my own parents without a doubt. At that moment, I was no one's child anymore. I was homeless, without a family. I walked out of the house, carrying nothing but a small bag. Snow began to fall. I stood there for a moment, cold, my mind blank. No one ran after me. No one called me back. After that fateful night, the night my father took away my college fund, my mother refused to protect me, and Dana triumphed with a smug smile. I knew one thing. I no longer belonged there. There was no reason to stay in a house that had once been a home, but had become a place of suspicion, lies, and betrayal. I left the next morning, before dawn. No one in the house woke up to see me off. Not a word of apology, not a look of regret. I stopped crying. My tears had dried up since last night. I had only one goal now, to survive. And if possible, to prove them wrong for giving up on me. I was starting from scratch. No house, no money, no clear plan. I called Jessie, the only friend I could trust at the time. I need help, Jessie. I have nowhere to go. Come to my house now. The sofa is still yours. And don't worry about breakfast. I stayed at Jessie's house for the first few months. Even though he wasn't well off, he never made me feel like a burden. His family was kind too, not asking too many questions, just silently giving me space to recover. I started working at a small coffee shop near Jessie's house. The work wasn't hard, but the pay wasn't great either. But at least I could support myself, and most importantly, I was no longer under Dana's thumb. Even though my college dreams were shattered, I still held on to my pride. I would stand up for myself, not for their money, not for their fake apologies. One day, while Jessie and I were having dinner, he handed me a job posting from his father's company. An office supply company. Jessie pushed the flyer towards me. My dad needs someone to do paperwork and help with operations. It's not ideal, but it pays better than the coffee shop. I looked at the paper, a little hesitant. I don't want to live off your father, Jessie interrupted. You don't depend on anyone. You work, get paid, and take care of yourself. That's enough. Don't turn down opportunities just because of pride. You deserve a better life than this. Jessie was right. I took the job. It started out as simple data entry. Then after a few months, I was promoted to order management. I gradually learned more about warehouse management and logistics, and after 2 years, I became an assistant operations manager. I rented a small apartment for myself. Not big, not luxurious, but mine. Every day I come home from work, cook for myself, read books, learn new skills. I live a simple but peaceful life. No one controls me anymore. No more insults. No more judgmental eyes. No more Dana. Every step I take is my own now. Sometimes I still think about my parents. Not because I miss them, but because of the unanswered questions. Why don't they believe me? Why do they give up on me so easily? Then I brushed it off, because I know, sometimes we never get the answers. One time, Jessie asked me, "Do you think you will forgive them?" His parents? I mused. I don't know. Maybe. Someday. But not now. Forgiveness can't come from pity. It has to come from truth. And I still stick to that. My life has stabilized in a way I never thought possible. No longer the girl who had everything taken away from me. I have become an independent woman, working hard, paying my own bills, standing on my own 2 feet. But no matter how far I go, the ghosts of the past are still there, smoldering in my heart, a part of my memory that I cannot erase, can only live with. And then, one afternoon like any other, everything changed. I received a text message from my mother. After almost 5 years of silence, no calls, no greetings, she suddenly contacted me. The text message was just one line. "Mia, I need to talk to you. Everything is clear." I didn't reply. I didn't want to open old wounds, but that message was like a spark falling into the ashes that had not yet been extinguished. A few days later, Jessie came to work looking for me with a strange look on her face. "Jessie, I thought you should know something. Your mother just came to my house. I didn't give her your address, but she said it was serious." I kept quiet. Part of me wanted to know the truth, if there was anything to say. Another part was wary, afraid I would get hurt again. Finally, I called my mother. Her voice was choked on the other end of the line. "Mom, can I see you, Mia? I didn't come here to apologize. There's something you need to hear." I agreed to meet her. We arranged to meet at a small cafe in a residential area, where it was quiet and no one paid attention to anyone. She sat there looking much older and more haggard than the last time I saw her. After a few minutes of silence, my mother began to tell. Mom looked down at the cold cup of coffee. "A few weeks ago, your dad's computer broke. He borrowed Dana's to do some work. When he logged in, he accidentally opened her email account." I said nothing. I felt my heart start to beat faster. Something was unfolding. Mother continued. In that email was a letter from a jewelry dealer. He thanked Dana for selling him a collection and asked if she would like to buy back a pair of gold earrings. Earrings that he had not had time to recreate because they were so beautiful. I closed my eyes. The things Dana accused me of stealing. Things I never touched. She had sold them. And my father finally saw the truth. Mother sighed. He recognized them immediately as the earrings Dana had been screaming for. He confronted her. At first Dana denied it, but then she broke down and cried. She confessed everything. She hated me, afraid I would ruin her marriage. She said I was just a daughter who wanted her father's money. I smiled faintly, a kind of smile without tears. I shook my head slightly, and they believed her. Easy as that. Mother's voice hoarse. Your father kicked her out of the house that same night. He filed for divorce. Dana is now living with her father, begging for forgiveness. Part of me wanted to feel relieved. But no. I saw nothing but a void. It had taken them 5 years to see the truth, and it was only revealed by an accidental click. What if he didn't open the wrong email? Would they still believe her? Would they still think I was a thief? And Mom? She believed her too. She left me alone. My mother burst into tears, but I did not comfort her. I was no longer the 18-year-old girl who needed a hug. I had learned to live without it. My mother threw sobs. I was wrong. I can't make excuses. It's just, I don't want to believe Dana is that bad. I think you need to learn responsibility. I was wrong. They weren't just wrong. They ruined me. Not just materially, like the scholarship fund, but my confidence, my dignity, and my youth. My mother gave me an envelope. Your father wants to return the scholarship money from years ago. Consider it as an atonement. I don't open the letter. I don't need their money. Not now, maybe never. The truth finally came out, but it came late. It came after I had lost so much. And that made the truth less of a comfort. It just confirmed what I knew all along. I wasn't wrong. They were. After meeting my mother, I returned to my small apartment, where I had spent nearly 5 years mending the broken pieces of my heart, where I had rebuilt myself from the ruins of my family. And that evening, as I sat silently at my old desk, the letter from my father was still in my bag, unopened. I hesitated for a long time, then finally opened it. Inside the envelope was a check for nearly the amount of tuition I had dreamed of, along with a handwritten letter, a handwriting I was all too familiar with. Mia, I don't expect you to forgive me. There are some mistakes so big that even if you spend your whole life trying to atone for them, you still can't erase them. I didn't trust you. I let a woman I only knew for a few years destroy the trust between me and my daughter. I had no excuse. When I read that email, I didn't want to believe it. But when I faced Dana, when she was flustered, confused, and then burst into tears and confessed, I knew I had lost the most precious thing. I am not writing this to ask you to come back. I just want you to know that I realize my mistake. If you can use this money to pursue your unfinished dream, then do it. Not because I want to make amends, but because it's what you deserve. Dad, Tom. I folded the letter and laid it on the table. My heart didn't beat faster. My eyes didn't fill with tears. Maybe it was because I had lost the emotion of late apologies. It felt like a letter from a stranger, kind perhaps, but no longer relevant to me. My father finally saw the truth, but something inside me couldn't be happy. Maybe because what he lost wasn't just a father-son relationship. It was trust, something money can't buy back. A few days later, I got another email, this time from my dad, not my mom. Title: If you haven't blocked my email. Content: I just want to say one last time, I am proud of you for surviving, for being stronger than anyone in this family. If one day you are ready, I will be here just to hear you speak, not to apologize anymore, but to listen in silence. I read the last paragraph over and over again. No more apologizing, just be quiet and listen. A small part of me, the softest part that remained, wanted to believe it. But my rational mind knew My father's choice to believe Dana over me was a wound that no apology could heal. I didn't reply. I didn't delete it, but I didn't respond either. I wasn't ready, and I didn't think I needed to be ready for them. I took the check to the bank, stood at the counter for a while, then left. I had lived almost 5 years without a penny from them. I had rebuilt my life from the bottom up. I couldn't take that check. Because it wasn't just money, it was proof of what I had lost. I don't need my college dream back, because I've created a new dream for myself. That evening, I told Jessie about the letter and the check. Jessie asked while pouring tea. "What are you going to do?" "I don't know. Maybe keep it." As a reminder, not about forgiveness, about choice. You don't have to forgive right away, or ever. Forgiveness isn't a gift to them. It's freedom for yourself, if and only if you're truly ready. I smiled. Jessie was always right. The days that followed passed in silence. No more emails, no more text messages, no more unexpected knocks on my door in the evening. Maybe my mother understood that I needed silence more than regrets. As for my father, I guess he was keeping his word in his last email. Just be quiet and listen. I returned to my normal routine, going to work, reading, tending to the little cactus on the balcony, and spending time with Jessie occasionally. On the surface, my life seemed unchanged. But on the inside, something was different. I no longer expected them to come back. I used to think that if one day my parents realized the truth, I would feel vindicated. I would feel relieved. But the reality was harsher. They were wrong, and they knew it. But that didn't mean I had to take them back as if nothing had happened. One evening, I was working when I received a new email. Sender: Thompson family topic. Can we start over? I almost laughed. Start over? Where to start? From the day they looked at me like a thief? From the day my father gave Dana his entire college fund as a reward for betrayal? Or from the day my mother turned away while I pleaded for her eyes? I don't open the email. I click on the 3 dots icon and select Move to Archive. Forgiveness is not a door that others can knock on at any time and walk in. It is a threshold I will open if and when I feel the need. And right now, I don't feel the need. I told Jessie. Jessie was surprised. It's them again? I calmly. This time we all wrote it together. It was like signing a petition to be back in my life. Jessie. And you? I don't see any reason to reopen the past. It burned me once. I don't intend to let it do it again. Another night, I sat in my apartment, the soft yellow light shining on a childhood photo of me with my parents, still placed on the shelf. Not because I still missed it, but because it was an indelible part of me. Looking at that photo, I no longer felt the pain I used to, but only emptiness. Maybe loss isn't the worst thing. The worst thing is realizing that the people we love can hurt us the most, and not everyone deserves a second chance. A week later, I received an invitation to meet from my mother, not directly, but through a relative I had once trusted. It turned out that she had given my mother my home address the previous time, and now wanted to mediate. I refuse. Thank you for your concern, but right now I don't want to see my mother again. I hope you can respect that. I'm not angry anymore. I don't hate. But forgiveness is different. Forgiveness takes time, truth, and most importantly, trust. And they broke my trust a long time ago. Instead of thinking about them, I thought about myself. About the 18-year-old girl who was pushed out the door without a word of defense. And I wanted to hug her, not to tell her everything will be okay, but to say, you did it, by yourself, and it was amazing. I'm still not sure if I'll be able to forgive in the future. Maybe, maybe never. But it's my choice, and I won't let anyone make me feel guilty about it, not even my mother. 3 weeks had passed since I'd last received an email from the Thompsons. No follow-up, no text, no unexpected knock on the door. I guess they understood, or at least they knew I was strong enough to set boundaries for myself. And this time, I wasn't backing down. Strangely, I didn't feel triumphant, not elated, nor relieved. What I felt was quiet, a kind of quiet I never thought I could achieve. One weekend morning, I woke up earlier than usual. I made coffee, opened the balcony door, and sat quietly in the gentle morning sun. In front of me was a small cactus pot, the one I had brought back from my early days of independence when I slept on Jesse's sofa. It's still there, tough, spiky, and alive. Maybe I'm just like him, not soft, not easy to love, but strong, surviving the driest years. During those quiet weeks, I began to think seriously about going back to school. Not to do it over, because I didn't believe there was anything to do over. I didn't want to erase what I had experienced. I just wanted to move on. Learning more wasn't about making up for the past. It was about investing in the future I deserved. I still have my father's check. I haven't used it yet. But now, I think differently. I don't need to forgive him to use the money. I just need to know it's money I deserve, not a favor. I told Jesse, I think I'll re-enroll in classes this fall, community school, but I feel ready. Jesse smiled. I'm proud of you, so very proud. You're doing this for yourself, not for anyone else. Yes, for Mia now, and Mia from 5 years ago too. I don't know where I'll go next. Maybe an associate's degree. Maybe I'll transfer to a university. Maybe I won't finish school at all and go in a new direction. But that doesn't matter anymore. I'm choosing my own path. No one can force me to go left or right this time. One night, I sat down to write in my diary. The first line was a sentence that I had kept in my head for a long time. I am not a victim of my past. I am a survivor. I went through years where I thought I would never get my head up again. I slept on other people's floors, cried because I felt worthless, thought maybe I didn't deserve a family, a chance. And now, looking back, I don't see a pitiful girl anymore. I see a woman, strong, knowing her limits, and no longer afraid to say no. If they come back, I don't know. Maybe I'll open the door. Maybe I won't. But next time someone comes into my life, they will have to understand that I am no longer the girl who is willing to silently endure